Was a personal sort of challenge to try to make tamata offerings to appear as if they're made of silver, but much more cheaply for a performance. It's made of deeply engraved MDF for Fotis Nikolaou's performance with the same name. So really powerful, really out of focus, and then you get the wider and deeper, almost 3D lines. And here they are used in the performance. These are the acrylic plastics at 3 millimeters thickness. Also a world of possibilities when you shine light from different sides, when you get mirrors. And this is a brand called Claroplants, which create propagation plates. This is an avocado seed for growing your own plants. This is a performance with acrylic again, Stomach Rumblings by Ariana Markoulidis, with shiny edges from the laser. This is a little more complicated, some shapes inspired by manhole covers, cut on large surfaces of acrylic and then used in the Limassol Grand Ballets. Belong, a performance by Lambros Lambro. I thought it was very interesting that manhole covers were hanging above the heads of dancers in a very formal setting, and these are the same ones, so very two extremes. This is Loitering by Ariana Markoulidis, again acrylics, and this was inspired by germs that are supposed to be hiding in glaciers, and they might be a threat to humanity when the glaciers melt, and this is a completely different lighting for it. Thicker acrylic may be used for embossing leather or for branding ceramics or to create an award line. A lot of shining and buffing goes behind this process. Corrugated polypropylene. Here, only the first layer was laser engraved and removed, so you could see the lines underneath. And then they were used to create carnival floats for the Limassol carnival. So here we have a very soft treatment of it, and here much bigger forms treated in a much larger scale. This was my costume for Carnival 2020. For some reason, that's the only photo I have. So I dressed up as a Holy Toast seller, engraving all sorts of gods and goddesses on foam to resemble the toasts that some people witness on their breads, supposed to be gods and I don't know, with a mold and everything. Again, now this is corrugated cardboard. This is one of my favorite processes to engrave the first layer, so you can see what's underneath. I think it can be also sorts of inspiring for artists of other mediums as well. Breathing Object by Eleana Alexandrou in collaboration with Omiros Panagidis. And the offcuts taken from the M here, or maybe here is a table made from the offcuts, and the rest is a cut scratcher, which was tested by our cut. It's working very well. Solid walnut, laser cut for bespoke serving dishes for Bistro 55 Classic. So you get the amuse-bouche on little towers like that, the pâté, as well as, what's that called? Ceviche, thank you. For leather, we worked with Leontios Tumbouris. he is very meticulous in his testing, and he wants to search deep scorch marks as well as much lighter. And this is his work Somme with felt. Also many possibilities. You can get little gifts for christenings. Foam rubber sheets, a stage set designed by Emilios. He was with you, Emilios, one of you, no? Moraris. And then clay. Ready plates can be decorated or engraved, as well as, again, by Leontios, earthenware clay with engravings. So then there's a rotary attachment, which can be used to engrave cylindrical objects. And later they were tested through baking for the pattern. And clay cups, as well as glass cups. It's also possible to etch on metal surfaces using Cermark spray. So here we have stainless steel, brass rulers, and brass page markers, page holders for Cyprus University of Technology and for the Cyprus Chefs Association. Copper. And these are labels for a perfume by Le H Apothecary. And the combination of the three materials, MDF, acrylic plastics, and Eva foam, it's funnily called Eva, we made two STEM toy sets, Birds of Cyprus. STEM or STEAM is science, technology, education, art, and mathematics. So they offer some insights into other ways of learning through collaboration rather than just the teacher giving information. So here are birds which we meet in Cyprus to be put together by 3-year-olds. And this is Spanos and the 40 Dragons based on the folk tale with their landscapes. And one is allowed to play with shadow, to make Spanos larger than the dragons or multiply him. Here you have 3, one in there and one back here, to try to win. White mulberry leaves, laser cut and left to dry for a distorted shape of Y3 by Adidas. They were indeed used by Adidas in clothing, but then for some reason, which I'm really not sure about, that line was cancelled. But we do have a couple of photos to use and to show. Aerogel was a very good experiment for me. It's 98% air and 2% glass. Developed by Yannis Michaloudis, and that was the bag by Coperni. Maybe you have seen it. It's one of the viral projects of last year. And this was where the outcomes were controlled. So creativity is a process of surrender, not control. Sometimes it's attributed to Bruce Lee, but I think it's Julia Cameron. Began to experiment on the unorthodox materials. What was interesting for me here was that the pebbles were gathered from the ceramic factory, the closed ceramic factory in Limassol. And what's white on there is the salt that came to the surface from the heat. All sorts of pebbles can be engraved, and some of these were left at the beach for people to discover. A lot more in my car ready to be left next year, maybe. We also took some photos through a DIY laser cut magnifier. And here we have engraving on the rotary attachment on acorns, on the shells of acorns, And here are fossilized shells. This is where I nearly caught fire. Not nearly, I caught fire here. I was trying to cut the loofah sponge in one pass, but you can't because it's too much heat, then it catches fire. But you can pass many times in order to achieve it. Food and cooking. I tried to cook. Engraved on cauliflower and onion as first tests. All these were then chopped up and put in the compost, so no food waste. All the rest of the tests were done on expired halloumi and lunza. So I tried to cook with the quail egg to begin with, no, with the chicken egg to begin with, but then it was too big, so I tried to do it with the quail egg, which is much smaller. It turns out that also you can't because the heat is too localized, it's not abundant. So I started to try to heat the marble there, but again, it wasn't heated, it was engraved. Then we tried to make scrambled eggs, so we could mix it and then recook it. But it's not appetizing. And also tried to make a salad at some point, but the smell of the burn is abundant. Okay, there was a guy who managed to pop popcorn. He put it on the rotary attachment and he tried to heat it gradually. He could do it. I could only engrave very finely on popcorn seeds. That's the largest pop that I could get. But I also felt that there was no need because there's detailed instructions of how to do it on YouTube. And then I called a friend because I started to think that, okay, maybe we can use it where strong heat is needed to actually have useful outcomes. And we did manage to brûler the cream. I'm still here. Again, abundant charring taste. So now, for the next steps with regards to cooking, I think I might recruit chefs to be able to localize the taste where it's needed to be put. And this is the next chapter, I hope. With the help of Thanos Vozikis, we tried to add unpredictable parameters to the laser to create generative art. So here there was a shape, and it was two squares and two circles, and I fixed the table unevenly on the rotary attachment, so I wasn't really sure what to expect in terms of pattern. And here was attempts on thermal paper, on the paper you get from till machines, that if you leave it in the heat, it disappears. So what can be seen here is it's disappearing while it's also engraving. And sorry, sorry, that's a video. Anyway, this is generative art at the top, a screenshot of generative art by Thanos, translated into a BMP to be read by laser cutters, and then it gave us an also unpredictable shape because we weren't sure where it was going to draw in a harder way. Okay. These are some more tests to create generative patterns. At some point, while we were testing the polystyrene, the nozzle caught it, and it created something that we weren't expecting. So I tried to do this a little more purposefully, thank you. 4 layers of polystyrene, one on top of the other, to create polystyrene dance routines, as I call them. Laser engraving on stainless steel ball with an action camera attached to it. I think this is the least action that the action camera has seen. It wasn't very successful. And yes, it's all leading towards the publication. It's called Laser Acrobatics again. These are photos from the workshop to test for a book cover. It's divided in 3 categories, popular processes, then the acrobatics, and then the flourished projects. There are a lot of details at the beginning, or on how to cut and what to avoid, or how to implement by knowing what to expect. Bending, leather, again, with a lot of force so you can get the distortion. The copper and copper tube with details on how to set up the laser. And also, this I find very interesting. We try to engrave on gourds. And here, while trying to draw, we achieved a distortion. Things you have seen. And this is the last one. I think it's very interesting, all the sound that is generated from the action camera. I think it's reminiscent of Jedis from Star Wars. And it was produced accidentally by covering, while I was trying to tape the camera to the laser, I must have covered the microphone. So, that's it. Thank you, and may the laser force be with you. Thanks. It was much shorter, but if you'd like to gather here for the samples box of all the things that we have cut, and I'll be happy to take questions if you have any. Yeah. Feel free.
It's nice.
Είναι πάρα πολλά ωραία. Με το CO2, με το spray. Και τούτο με το σε αλουμίνιο, anodized, που κάνεις χρώματα με τη δύναμη του λέιζερ. Τι είναι έλειπε,
Το γυαλί έχει κίνδυνο να σπάσει.
Yes. Αλλά έχει διάφορα ways maybe in English, to avoid breaking the glass, you may need to wet it a little bit or apply some newspaper somehow to balance the heat that it is absorbing.
Gin.
Gin, ναι. To connect to the laser, they usually come with one.
I never used that one.
Ah, okay. So I usually work on Illustrator or Rhino, and then there's a particular LaserWorks, it's called, but it comes with my specific machines. Other machines have other.
Right. So you first illustrate and then
Yeah.
it translates. You need to adapt as well what you're doing. Do you need to add?
Always. So by adapting here, you may get a cut or you may get a thick engraving.
I see.
That's interesting.
And here, because it's metal, the adaptation gives different shades.
This is the thermal paper you're talking
Yes.
about, okay.
So it's almost like a printing even, this one.
Yeah. I think it's all printing. All of it is printing.
With a mirror, you engrave
The back, yes. With the plastic mirror as well, because then you may get a reflection of the beam too, and it will ruin your machine. Τούτον ήταν με το spray. This was done with a spray, which is I think €90 per bottle. And then I went to my car mechanic and he gave me this one. It's not engraved here. It works. It's €3. But it takes a little longer to clean. Tell me.
You have to spray it first.
If you want to do metal, yes, first you spray and then you wash.
But what's the spray?
I'm not sure. It's called Cermark or car body spray marking. Yeah. So, ne? What was the question?
What's the spray?
What?
Why do you need to?
Because it reacts with the metal. If you engrave like this, it will not mark it. So it needs to react. So in order to stay more permanently.
And then it was clear?
Ναι. Τώρα είσαστε μόνο Κύπροι. Η Αγγελική τέλειωσε το 12. Εσύ? Ναι. 21. Εντάξει. Εγώ να δεις.
Μόλις το διάβαζα, σκέφτηκα τα άλλα του σούφια παλιά στην αρχαία ιστορία, να σου πένε γράφαν με μελάνο.
Ναι. It's also a test, ναι. Ναι.
Η δουλειά του πολλά να κάνει με την υφή, πολλά ενδιαφέρον το materiality, περισσότερο καθόλου με digital, να στρέψετε κάτι σε 3D, ας πούμε, σε κάπως πιο environment, όχι τόσο.
Όχι. Ναι, προσπαθώ.
Κάτι που παίρνει να πείτε και το πλέον.
You're the second. Do you want to connect yours? Because you can take this if you...
Απλά πολλά ενδιαφέρον η αρχή σε τούτα.
Ναι, δεν το έχω καθόλου. Μπορεί να πρέπει, ας πούμε, το πράγμα, που ήταν generative art, αλλά πιάσαμε stils που μέσα, και μετά έναν predictable τούτο, είναι το πιο μακριά που μπορώ να πάω εγώ. Μετά θέλω συνεργάτες άλλες.
Πώς εξοπλίζεται το generative art,
Ναι.
συγκεκριμένο το project.
Thank you. Ναι. Νομίζω, επειδή έκανα το χώρο το δικό μου, μετά ξεκινάς να έχεις άλλα πολυτέλεια να δοκιμάζεις και ξέρω εγώ. Οπότε, ναι. Τι?
And tiny, μπορεί φωτογραφίες.
Φαίνεται πιο μεγάλο. Κι αν αγκαλιάζει. Και ξέρει ότι είναι το πακρυγιού. Yeah. Okay.
Τούτα βάζεις.
Τούτα είναι οι ενώσεις και θέλεις κάθε φορά δοκιμές γιατί δεν είναι ποτέ εκείνο που σου λέουν το πάχος. Και δεν ξέρεις και πόσο αφαιρά το λέιζερ, οπότε κάθε φορά που κολλάζεις έναν καινούργιο πρέπει να το δοκιμάζεις να δεις ότι τερκάζουν.
Καινούργιο υλικό εννοείς.
Όχι καινούργιο υλικό, καινούργιο MDF. Μπορεί να σου λέει είναι 2,7 αλλά να είναι 2,75 και μετά να μην τερκάζει. Πώς είναι να έχω. Να μου πεις που να πρέπει να μαζέψω. Που να πρέπει να μαζέψω να μου πεις. Οκ. 2 λεπτά. Εντάξει. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.